Hey everyone, I think I'm going to call this video Inside the Mind of a Sociopath. Now this is in reference to a shooting that happened. Not sure if anyone, well I'm sure many Canadians, but there's some of you probably aren't familiar with this. About this officer who shot a gentleman named Don Dumphy over a Facebook or Twitter post towards some government official in Newfoundland. Really like to get to know the full details on what exactly happened and how this came to be, because this supposedly security detail guy, I believe whether he's off duty at the time doing security detail for this politician or whether he's being paid by the tax dollars, I guess that's a moot point at this junction. But anyways, I want to read a little bit. I'm actually going to read this article from CBC News. The headline is "The RNC officer," that's the Royal Newfoundland Constabulary, whatever the hell they call themselves, fucking royal, from old world fucking, Great Britain bullshit anyways. But RNC officer who shot Don Dumphy wishes better intervention was possible. Please seize any opportunity to help those who need it, officer tells colleagues in a 900-word email. Like I say, this is one of those stories where, yeah, I think the title will be proper. Inside the Mind of a Sociopath. Anyways, let's continue on. The Royal Newfoundland Constabulary, that's what they call him, officer who fatally shot Don Dumphy in Mitchell's Brook last Sunday, has written an email to all employees of the provincial police force expressing no regret. Sociopath, lack of empathy, right? No regret, but wishing some other kind of earlier intervention had been possible. So this is the person that took it upon himself to go in plain clothes, basically off duty, to this gentleman's home to confront him based on, like, it was either a Facebook or a Twitter posting that this person obviously had a problem with the politician. But anyways, the email shows the officer's feelings in the aftermath of a highly publicized and even politicized incident that saw a member of the Premier's security detail shoot Dumphy in his home in Mitchell's Brook, a small Avalon Peninsula community about 85 kilometers southwest of St. John's. Although I cannot regret my actions last Sunday, I unequivocally wish I could have visited Mr. Dumphy at a point in his life where another level of intervention may have been possible, the officer wrote in an email obtained by CBC News. Careful of that there, folks, I'm telling you. And I've come across many of them in my life. You can see it in their eyes. They're just mindless drones for the ruling classes. They are sociopaths. They lack empathy or compassion or even a general understanding of what it means for even someone to have the right to defend themselves or speak out against the people that try to rule over them. I mean, it's fucking very disturbing. Very disturbing. The officer, whom CBC News is not naming, traveled to Dumphy's home after an employee in Premier Paul Davis's office alerted him to what was perceived to be a threat to the Premier in a tweet that Dumphy sent on Good Friday. RCMP said that a 15-minute encounter in Dumphy's home escalated and ended up with Dumphy being shot dead, according to the Mounties. Dumphy pointed a long-barrel firearm at the lone officer. Of course, right? A .22 caliber. So, I mean, for those of you that don't know anything about guns, a long gun. A fucking have you ever seen a .22 caliber bullet? Right? And they're From top to bottom, the shell casing, everything included, might be that long. And the tip, the actual bullet, might be, you know. They're puny. Puny, for fuck's sakes. Just a step above a BB gun, for Christ's sakes. Matter of fact, there's some BB guns where you can get pellets and shit in the size of a .22 caliber. So, but, you know, they got to act as if. But here's a person that's in his own home anyways. Forget about the fact. Some fucking idiot shows up on your door. Some cop dressed in plain clothes. Whatever the fuck his excuses are. He went there. This person tweeted, which obviously is no fucking direct threat to anyone. This, you know. And if you read the tweet even, it's... I'm so tired of having to try and explain this shit to people, to be honest with you. You know, if you're pissed off and you type out, whether it's on a typewriter or on a computer, words out of your frustration, that is not the fucking same as going to somebody's home and using physical confrontation. Anyways. The officer who said it was necessary to let his colleagues know about his sentiments on Sunday's tragedy sent an email to all RNC staff at 7:30 a.m. on Friday and appeared to take aim at those who have speculated about the incident. The vocal minority engaged in social media and open line talk shows appear to want an immediate cyber trial in a veritable town square instead of a professional and detailed investigation involving interviews and scientific forensic analysis, the officer wrote. So in other words, what he's really saying is, you know, let his buddies take care of all of this stuff, and they'll be able to create the narrative and put in the protective mechanisms so that the officer will look like he did everything that was noble and heroic, right? Of course that's what they want. I mean, they all work for the fucking government, so yeah, of course they're just looking to get someone else in the government to scratch their back. But I'm just going to scroll down to the bottom of this article, because the full text of this guy's email, like I said, headline, inside the mind of a sociopath. Here's the full text of this email. Friends and colleagues, it is with a heavy heart I write this message. However, I feel it necessary that you hear my sentiments on Sunday's tragedy. The death of Mr. Donald Dunphy. Firstly, please accept my sincere gratitude for the messages, handshakes, and general support you have shown my family and I. We live in a period where opinion is ubiquitous, while facts seemingly take a back seat to what is titillating. The vocal minority engaged in social media and open-line talk shows appear to want an immediate cyber trial in a veritable town square instead of a professional and detailed investigation involving interviews and scientific forensic analysis. I have come to the conclusion, however, that this is where we have a responsibility and where we must take the time to reflect on why we decided to enter the world of policing. Listen attentively here. It is very easy for us to become frustrated at what appears to be prolific ignorance prevailing in our society. Something, in brackets, something I have had to reconcile myself. But we didn't choose to become police officers because it was easy. We are police officers, and we are the civilian police staff because we get the unparalleled opportunity to help people. Help people. For Mr. Dunphy, we were simply too late. But that doesn't mean we stop forging ahead into hopelessness, anguish, and despair with the view of creating betterment, safety, and well-being for the citizens we serve. I mean, Jesus fucking Christ. Right? Right? Whew. Our community is reeling from this terrible misfortune. This is the guy that went and fucking did the shit, that went to this guy's head and killed the fucking guy. Listen to the way he's talking. That's indoctrination at its finest right here. And this is what I mean. When people tell you that statism is a religion, believe it. It's a fucking religion. These people believe this shit wholeheartedly. Our community is reeling from this terrible misfortune, and we must do what we are supposed to do in any community tragedy. We must show strength, understanding, compassion, leadership, and empathy. Sociopaths, see? They know how to put out the words, but the reality of their actions don't reflect the rhetoric, as we keep talking about. That's what it means to be a sociopath. This is our responsibility. So there lies, in the most unfortunate of circumstances, an opportunity to educate and empathize. We are the experts in our field, and can't expect everybody to simply get it. While we cannot discuss confidential details of any police file or investigation, we can indeed articulate our expertise in a concise way that alleviates some of the confusion that exists even among our own friends and family. Protective policing is predicated on intelligence-led investigations. Most will inherently view police work as something that is reactive, i.e., somebody is threatened and we respond accordingly. Intelligence-based policing is proactive. And in the case of protective services, attempts to identify potential concerns and disconcerting behavior, and through a risk analysis endeavors to assign threat levels and implement corrective measures before an act of targeted violence occurs. Minority Report shit here, people. I mean, we're talking about trying to prevent fucking crimes before they... Holy fuck. Use the Ottawa shooting as an inverse comparison. Society was quick in this case to ask whether the police were in identifying red flags. I think a word was left out here. Erroneous, misleading statistics associated to the depth of work policy carried out is difficult to explain in a media soundbite, but people need to understand that a singular police file number does not capture what we do in its totality. Security for elected officials, this is what you need to hear, is sadly a topic of public debate. Newfoundland and Labrador is an amazing place to live and work. We are, however, not impervious to singular acts of violence. Our elected officials make great sacrifices to carry out important work, and they suffer a level of public exposure and scrutiny like no other group as I am aware of. They are charged with managing public funds and our social programs. This leads to individuals and groups who will be disgruntled, and when desperation and instability is added to the mix, you will have security concerns. So in other words, the ones that don't want to follow on in this fucking forced collectivism, yeah, they're going to be a threat, right? Whew. Our elected officials and their families deserve to live and do their work unencumbered by concerns for their safety and well-being. So yeah, the thieves and criminals in the society should be able to go unabated and unhampered, right? Whew, man. Whether our premiers wear a blue, red, or orange stripe, their security should be as static as the desk in their office. Some will tell you that our premier should be or is an ordinary person. The reality, however, is that while they may have once been an ordinary person, if such a thing exists, they are now our premier, and there is nothing ordinary about that office. Society has eroded many of the comforts and standard amenities that should come with being an elected official. Jesus. All in the name of politics. We are, however, the provincial police, and we continue to provide a service and make recommendations that are founded in principle and good policing philosophy. Like I said, man, this is fucking disturbing shit. A capable and professional police service requires community support and confidence. For success to achieve community support and confidence, we require dedicated professionals who are well trained, proud and confident of their duties, and who can empower stakeholders to play an active role in creating safer communities. When such tragedies are at our forefront, we risk eroding that confidence. While there are many people who are and will be impacted by this, make no mistake that at the core of this matter there is a family that no longer has a father and a brother. I sincerely appreciate the tremendous support you have shown me and my family, but we must also bear in mind that we have a community who is confused, scared, hurt, and grieving. We must also help them heal. Although I cannot regret my actions last Sunday, I unequivocally wish I could have visited Mr. Dunphy at a point in his life where another level of intervention may have been possible. Our lives can change or end in the blink of an eye. Please seize any opportunity to help those who need it. Right? This is the entirety Let that dig in. I'm glad this is in video form because, and I'm going to do another video, but I got to wrap this up real quick before I hit the 15-minute mark. So get ready for part 2. It's Canadian Libertarian, and I love liberty.